So far within our text, within our HTML document, we actually don't have a lot of text. And that's why the headings don't really make a whole lot of sense, because we're really just breaking apart and we're just bolding out some stuff and we don't have anything in between. So what I want to do in this lesson is add in some dummy text. And dummy text is really important when you're designing your web page and you actually want it to make and have it look proper and actually look like a real web page. So let's add in a big chunk of dummy text. I'm using blindtextgenerator.com, number of different resources online in order to generate some dummy text. So lorem ipsum is text that actually looks real, but it's actually, so it's not English language, it's just lorem ipsum text. So it's basically used for placeholding within website design. So let's go ahead and I'm going to get rid of some of these. I'm going to paste all of that text in, save it, and refresh it. So there we go. So now we've got our web page. We've got a big chunk of text, and well, it doesn't really look that great. So someone coming into this website, a lot of times if you see something like this, you're not going to go reading through it because it's just too much text, and web visitors, they don't like to kind of, you've got under 5 seconds to actually capture a user's attention on a website. So always make sure that it's not too overwhelming. Something like this is overwhelming, and this is where we structure our page even more using elements like paragraphs or tags like paragraph tags. So these are opening and closing tags again, and basically it's just breaking apart your content and making it more digestible. So see here that when I add in paragraphs, right away this first sentence, it looks more readable, more presentable. I'm actually going to jump into here and I'm going to add the paragraph tags here because this was very long and I don't want to scroll all the way over. So I'm going to take this apart, add in some paragraphs and some random spots here, and I'm going to show you how I can magically transform this to be a lot more readable. And also make sure that when you're opening, you're also closing. And paragraphs, don't include paragraphs in other paragraphs, so don't nest a paragraph within a paragraph. Some browsers don't take well to that. They're going to throw an error. So sometimes just make sure that you're keeping them all separated out. So now it's just a little bit more readable. In brackets, you can beautify the code so it is more readable within the code. So basically, I've added in paragraphs, and we can see that now when I go out to the web page and refresh it, it's a lot more digestible for a user coming in. And then you throw in a few headings, and this is a really great way to break apart that content. And so if I had this content was maybe something in regards to look at this, and maybe over here, so if we had a site about pets, if we had cats here, opening, closing, always remember to have those open and close tags. And then maybe this paragraph could be about dogs and so on. And when I refresh it and I come into the website, it actually looks like something that is fairly easy and straightforward. So if I'm coming into the web page, if I'm thinking I want to look about cats, then I know where I immediately go to, and I can start reading this instead of having to look over like a huge block of just regular text. I know where I need to go in order to find what I'm looking for. So also, if you notice here that with paragraphs, we're actually breaking apart that content. So there is a little bit of formatting there where we've got the paragraph starting, paragraph ending, we've got a new paragraph starting, a new paragraph ending, and we've got this spacing in between. And we also see that over here, as we're wrapping the text, we have no spacing. And you can actually do this within your HTML code as well. So if I had a really long paragraph here, and if I want to break it up a little bit, I can add these line breaks. So these are just BR tags, and whenever I refresh it, we see that we've got this line break, which is different than a paragraph because we have no additional formatting or styling that's being added in. All we're doing is adding in and returning the character to a new row. And that's all it's doing here. So no additional formatting. And this is another way that you can break apart your text, make it more consumable and easier to read. And one thing that we did notice here with the line breaks, there's no closing line break. And that's because line breaks are a different type of HTML tag where they're just inserting information about how that page gets rendered out. So there's actually nothing that you could really place in a line break because there's no content in a line break. It's just essentially as the browser's rendering out, hits a line break, it knows what to do. It means this is moved to the next line and does the same thing. So it's essentially works more like a command, and it allows the browser to render out that content as expected and as the web developer designed it to look. So the next lesson, we're going to look at adding even more formatting and structure. So if you had something where you've got a list of items and a list of content, you want to list that content out and have it all kind of blocked together. So this is where we can use unordered lists and lists within HTML. So those I'm going to show you in the next lesson.